Right now on News 3, an update on the flooding conditions on Madison's lakes.
Plus, a new Facebook scam popping up that you may unknowingly be a part of.
And later, making improvements. What organizers say will be different this time around at the Jefferson Warriors and Wizards Festival.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll have those stories in a couple of minutes.
Well, first, it was strangely humid, warm out there today for October 8th. That's fueling a chance of some storms tonight. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti in the Weather Center. Gary?
Unfortunately, there are parts of our viewing area that don't need any more rainfall, but they're going to get it. Let's start out by taking a look at an alert day that we have in the forecast for tomorrow and tomorrow night, with the possibility for thunderstorms that could produce some locally heavy rain, as well as the potential for some severe weather with hail and high winds being the main threats. So far, things pretty quiet around here. There are some strong to severe thunderstorms in parts of southern Iowa. We'll have to see if any storms develop farther to the north and east into southern Wisconsin. There is a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms for this evening, mainly north and west of Madison. Tomorrow, there's a slight risk from Madison westward and a marginal risk for isolated severe thunderstorms elsewhere across southern Wisconsin. The other problem is the rainfall. Could be looking at anywhere from a ½ inch to 1.5 inches of rain generally over southern Wisconsin. Heaviest amounts west of Madison, amounts in excess of 2 inches possible in some heavier thunderstorms. There are flood watches in effect out near the Mississippi River. Low temperatures this morning started out in the lower 50s. Highs today made it up into the upper 70s and low 80s in most areas, and current temperatures are still very warm, and winds continue out of the south. That'll keep the air humid, and more thunderstorms in the forecast for tomorrow with a high of 79. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. In just over a month since this summer's historic flooding, the threat, as he just said, it's not over.
This weekend brought more rain, and as you heard, we have additional storms in the forecast. Amanda Quintana is live near Monona Bay with what the city is trying to do to prevent future flooding. Amanda?
Yes, well, we're here near Brittingham Park, and this is really an example that flooding threat is not over. You could see it's flooding here in the streets, and with that rain on the way that Gary just mentioned, Mayor Paul Soglin is encouraging people to keep these sandbags out. Lake Monona is still 2 inches higher than the 100-year flood level. David Mellenhoff, who lives along the lake, wants to see the city do something to prevent the extreme flooding that we saw this summer from happening again.
This last storm that we had in August, we had two, one on August 20th and one on August 28th, was, if it was anything, a wake-up call to all of us in Dane County to take this threat of flooding very seriously.
The City Council will be introduced to a resolution at their next meeting to approve a team of engineers. This will be a joint effort with Dane County to look at how to prevent this from happening again. The question the city is asking is what can be done to control the dams and keep lake levels low enough that if a big rain event happens again, we don't see major flooding. This year, we could hit a new record for precipitation accumulation. Now that the county has already approved that team of engineers, so that's already approved. It just needs to go through the city now. Of course, the mayor says any changes that they make to the lake levels, any recommendations that that team has, that change will take some time.
Amanda Quintana reporting tonight. Amanda, thank you.
We have flooding on our minds this year, but this time last year, Madison was dealing with tornado damage. It was a rare October twister that damaged trees, power lines, and buildings along East Washington Avenue. Our Madeline O'Neill has more on how that area has rebuilt.
Eric, October is one of the least active months for tornadoes in our state, but certain conditions made for the perfect storm last year, damaging a few businesses and forcing them to rebuild.
I have never seen a tornado on the east side.
Today, it's cars barreling down East Wash. A year ago, it was a tornado.
Tornado by me. Kind of get an eerie feeling when the tornado hits and you see the devastation.
On a side of town not accustomed to twisters.
That was never one of our concerns.
At a business used to just worrying about dirt and grime. During a season not known for tornadoes.
Let's see what I got here.
Four Seasons Car Wash had to deal with downed trees and misplaced bricks.
I did get multiple phone calls from friends and fire department and everything to get down here as soon as I could.
Owner Bruce Sales can tell you all about October 7th, 2017.
Back wall is completely gone.
That's the day a tornado blew out the back walls of 3 of his car wash bays and tried to take the roof as well.
Made it unstable.
That tornado did get away with part of the awning at the William T. Evu Access Community Health Clinic. During its less than 10-minute stint on the ground, it covered about 4 miles, tearing down other structures too. Those with the Access Health Clinic say now those renovations are almost complete.
What I saw could be rebuilt, and we did rebuild.
Down the road, Four Seasons Car Wash has been fixed up since this spring. So now, instead of picking up bricks, the focus is back on cleaning cars.
Everything's going pretty good.
Last year's tornado was an EF0 with winds up to 80 miles per hour. While there was plenty of damage, no one was hurt.
Madeline O'Neill in our news center. Madeline, thank you.
Madison Postal Worker Union members rallied today to bring awareness to the possibility of U.S. Postal Service privatization. The workers oppose President Trump's proposal to remove the Postal Service's obligation to deliver mail to all people. If privatization moves forward, they say delivery companies could decrease service or charge more in rural areas. These rallies were held all across the country today.
Early voting underway in Wisconsin. Whether you choose to vote now or on Election Day, a local nonprofit wants to make sure everyone can get to the polls. Common Cause of Wisconsin offering free rides to polling places in every county statewide. The drivers will also make sure their riders are prepared to vote. They'll make sure everyone has an acceptable ID, and if a person needs to register at the polls, they'll check for proof of residence as well. If you're an avid Facebook user, you may have been part of a new scam, a message being copied and pasted among users warning people that their account was cloned and to not accept a friend request from that account.
So experts say your account is not being cloned. Scammers are using this as a way to filter out gullible people for real scams in the future. Jamie Perez found out why this is happening now and the methodical approach scammers are using.
If you've seen this message, it's a scam.
Always question everything.
Steve Knoll has been digging into this scam for the past few days. The message says your account might be cloned, to forward it to friends, telling them not to accept that friend request, and then share the message with others.
Because if they're sending it to you, they're probably sending it to 50 other people.
Don't fall for it.
Always think before you click.
Steve says there's a tactical method being used here. Scammers timed this perfectly with several things. Let's start with the first. Several weeks ago, there was a Facebook data breach.
About 50 million people in the last few weeks logged into Facebook where they normally log in, their phone, their computer, a tablet, only to find that they had to re-log in. Scammers are taking that idea and then launching this current scam, hoping that people think the two are connected.
Number two, the recent uproar about the Kavanaugh hearing has people on both sides rather emotional.
Tempers are flaring, emotions are flaring. That's the perfect time to scam people.
Number three, the upcoming elections.
I think stuff like this is only going to increase between now and the election because emotions are going to increase between now and the election.
The best policy is to simply ignore it. Don't share it, don't subject other people to continuing the message circulation. And even though cloning does happen,
they're taking a legitimate thing that's out there and then creating an urgency to spread the word against a cloning outbreak.
It's not the case, at least this time.
And the message that's circulating in this scam will hopefully die down after more people hear about it. If you receive a message from someone, just ignore it. Maybe even tell them that they just played into a scam. Education really is the best policy here. It may even help prepare more people on not subjecting themselves to scams in the future.
Good advice. Jamie Perez reporting tonight. Jamie, thank you.
It is Indigenous Peoples Day here in Madison. Edgewood College taking the opportunity to celebrate the Ho-Chunk Nation. The private Catholic college unveiled a land recognition statement at a ceremony this afternoon. The statement honored the Ho-Chunk and the other 11 Wisconsin Indigenous nations. To many Ho-Chunk at the ceremony, the gesture symbolized a growing relationship between communities.
Indigenous Day for the Ho-Chunk people means that every day you have to live your life in a good way as the Creator has intended. So that means to everybody that is a different color, we're all the same. We all have red blood.
Madison has recognized Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day since 2005.
Still ahead at 6, Jefferson transforms ahead of next weekend's Warriors and Wizards Festival.
But there have been some mixed reviews. A look at what organizers say will be different this time around. We want to mention this on a day that's almost 80 degrees. We have now collected more than 6,000 winter coats this year. Our Coats for Kids campaign, Clinky Cleaners, says so many were donated over the weekend, they are still counting them. To get a coat, the Community Action Coalition is where you'll be able to find one. Distribution begins October 16th. It'll run through November 8th. Warriors and Wizards from around the country will soon make their way to Wisconsin for a festival named in their honor.
But two of the actors scheduled to be at the festival have canceled their appearances. News 3's Rose Schmidt explains why from Jefferson.
City of Jefferson will soon be transfigured into a world fit for a potter. Now, there's been some issues before with this festival, but organizers say this year they've made improvements. It's hard to miss.
Dervish and Platt's bookstore is now being made at the library.
The work being done.
It's crunch time.
To get Jefferson ready for the Warriors and Wizards Festival.
Then we see Aragog and his family.
Last year, the event was called Harry Potter Festival, and guests complained that it failed to meet expectations. Long lines, not enough transportation, and events that cost more money despite already paying for a wristband.
We've really tried to streamline all of those things, and we'll be sure to make sure that if people have VIP passes, they will have access to essentially jump the line.
Brad James was hired to tackle those issues, which he says have all been taken care of with point-to-point bus routes and fast passes.
Every event has challenges.
But this week there seems to be another problem. Two actors from the Harry Potter movies have canceled their appearances. Sean Biggerstaff, who played Oliver Wood, tweeted that he was disappointed and angered. He told us that organizers lied and then admitted to his agent this week that they don't have the money to pay him. Brad says he can't comment on this situation, but offered this as an explanation.
When something like that happens, people are going to have concerns. They're not sure what's going on, and at the same point in time, it's hard when you're not living it every day to understand what's going on.
He also says when a town of 8,000 people puts on an event of this magnitude, there are bound to be issues.
And many more spiders to come.
And they want everyone to have a magical experience.
Is a great way to showcase this community as a really authentic type of small town Wisconsin.
The festival runs from October 19th to the 21st, and tickets are still on sale. In the city of Jefferson, or should I say the Muggle world, Rose Schmidt, WISC News 3.
The organizers say the festival brought in more than $33 million in economic development in 2017.
They're not sure yet how many people they expect this year, but they are prepared for up to 100,000. Still ahead tonight at 6, the Brew Crew back in Wisconsin.
We'll head to Milwaukee and hear from the Brewers coming off their NLDS sweep. Ahead in sports.
Unseasonably mild and humid weather will lead to some shower and thunderstorm chances. Most of us don't need any additional rainfall, but we're going to get it. I'll tell you how much to expect in just a few minutes.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti's here with a look at our unusual October forecast.
You're going to have temperatures close to 80 degrees in October. That is unusual. The humidity levels are high, and unfortunately that leads to more spring-like type thunderstorms than you would expect in the fall. But we have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for the possibility for thunderstorms, especially tomorrow night. They could produce locally heavy rainfall as well as the potential for some severe weather with hail and high winds being the main threats. Now, over the last 48 hours, the heaviest rains have fallen from Madison westward, about an inch or two of rain there. Even some heavier amounts just south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, around 3 or 4 inches over toward Rockford. And then farther to the north and west, lesser amounts of rain have fallen there. That's where the initial batch of rain will be. In fact, tonight we've already seen some showers heading up just to east of La Crosse and west of the Dells. To the south and west, more showers and thunderstorms. And then some severe weather in parts of Missouri might reach southern Iowa, where a tornado watch is in effect. Storm Prediction Center actually has a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms into southern Wisconsin, parts of central Wisconsin for tonight. I think it would mainly be this evening. And tomorrow the threat is a little bit higher. A slight risk from Madison westward, a marginal risk for an isolated severe thunderstorm through the rest of southern Wisconsin. Again, hail and high winds the main threats, but also some heavy rain possible. The latest computer models are kind of hinting that southeastern Wisconsin might not get as much rain, whereas heavier rain is possible out to the west of us. That remains to be seen, but if we see the repeated rounds of showers and storms out to the west of us, that would make more sense. And perhaps up 2 to 3 inches of rain in spots out near the Mississippi River might contrast with maybe a ½ inch of rain east of Madison. We'll just have to see if that works out. But for the time being, there are flood and flash flood watches in effect for much of northwestern Wisconsin, southeastern Minnesota, and much of Iowa. These are all river flood warnings, and unfortunately, those rivers are going to stay above flood stage for a while with more rain on the way. The sunshine in the southern part of the state allowed temperatures to warm up. Live view from the Quebe Radio Skycam shows a little bit of clearing on the western horizon, but generally cloudy skies. The WISC Skycam shows mostly cloudy skies here on the west side of Madison. The Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison shows some thicker clouds starting to move in overhead. As we look at the almanac for today, the high temperature made it up to 78 degrees after starting out at 52, and right now we're still at 77 degrees, winds out of the south-southwest at 8 miles per hour. Dew point temperature unseasonably high at 64 degrees. Hurricane Michael has just passed the western tip of Cuba and now is starting to move into the areas west of Florida. Top winds right now are about 80 miles per hour, but it could become a Category 2 or 3 hurricane before it makes landfall, and that will eventually pull the remnants of our rain eastward, but that won't occur until later Wednesday or Wednesday night. So flood and flash flood watches in effect for Crawford County and areas to the west. 65 for the overnight low temperature. Best chance for a shower or thunderstorm north and west of Madison. Tomorrow's high 79 with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm during the day. You can see north and west of Madison, the best chances for rain tonight. Tomorrow, just a chance for a shower or thunderstorm. The better chances arrive tomorrow night into Wednesday. That's when a cold front will move through. High temperatures on Wednesday, upper 60s to the lower 70s. Rainfall amounts generally in the ½ inch range east of Madison, much more to the west. But the 7 to 10 day forecast calls for much cooler weather. Highs only in the 40s Thursday and Friday. Nighttime lows down to around freezing with some frost possible. A warm-up is on the way for next week.
Well, it's going to be a loud weekend in Ann Arbor, but if you don't like playing in hostile environments, well, Michael Dieter has some words of advice for you. The story next in sports.
News.
Well, top 15 matchup for the Badgers this weekend as the 15th ranked Wisconsin Badgers visiting number 12 Michigan. A big enough game nationally that College Game Day will be in Ann Arbor on Saturday. So the Badgers definitely expecting a loud environment. The last time Wisconsin played Michigan at the Big House was in 2016. Both teams were then ranked in the top 10. Now Wisconsin did lose that game 14-17. So what are they anticipating this year?
Oh, it's fun to play at any intimidating place, but it also might be intimidating at the same time. But it's going to be fun whenever you get 100,000 fans, screaming at you. That's never going to be boring, It might be a little intimidating, but if you're not having fun in a place like that, then you should have played a different sport.
It is now wait and see for the Brewers. The crew punching its ticket to the NLCS for the first time since 2011 with a sweep over the Rockies in the NLDS yesterday. The team awaiting the winner of the Dodgers and Braves. But regardless of opponent, Game 1 of the NLCS will be on Friday at Miller Park. Time still to be determined as well, but the Brewers back in Wisconsin as of this afternoon. There's Bob Uecker there, ready for the NLCS, whoever their opponent may be.
Awesome, man. I don't think anybody ever expected us to be there except for us. So we're right where we want to be right now, so we're going to go out and play hard and keep doing what we've been doing all year.
Now, as for that other NLDS game, Dodgers up 2-1 over the Braves coming into this afternoon. They're up 1-0 until the fourth. 2 outs for Kurt Suzuki. He goes left, takes a bounce in front of Jock Peterson. Can't quite get it. Yohan Camargo and Tyler Flowers score 2-1 Braves. Sixth inning now, David Freese getting one through the gap. 2 RBI single, bringing Cody Bellinger and Yasiel Puig home. 3-2 Dodgers. Some insurance here in the 7th. Manny Machado and Dodgers thinking he was worth every penny right now. 3-run home run. Right now, bottom of the 7th, Dodgers up 6-2. Round 1 of the WIAA State Girls Golf Tournament at University of Ridge today. Janesville Parker's Sophia Duman clanks this one off the flagstick on 14. She shoots 83. She is in the top 25 individually. The big local story in Division 1, Stoughton's Katie Kutlowski. She won the sectional with 73 at Reedsburg last week, and today matches that 73 at University Ridge. She's tied for first at 1 over par. In the Division 1 team race, Kettle Moraine is leading with Middleton in 2nd, Milton 4th, and Wanakee in 7th place. And a familiar story in Division 2, Edgewood with a comfortable lead after the first day. Grace Welch leads the Crusaders, shooting a 78, good enough for 2nd place. All 4 Edgewood scores in the top 15 today. That has the Crusaders in 1st place. They're 17 shots ahead of 2nd place, Xavier. Final week of the regular season for high school football, so we've got a battle in the Capital North. Lakeside Lutheran at Lodi. Blue Devils are the defending Division 4 state champs. That game has been moved to Wanakee, though, due to field conditions at Lodi. Jay Wilson will have the call alongside Bill Brophy and Alan Minert on TVW and channel3000.com. Kickoff at 7 p.m.
Now they got the artificial field turf service at Wanakee.
Yes.
The fields out there have been saturated with all this rain.
Yeah, and more rain is on the way. It'll be dry by Friday, just chilly by that point, but flood and flash flood watches are in effect out to the west of us. You can see showers and thunderstorms in Iowa and Missouri heading northeastward. Marginal risk for severe thunderstorms tonight, a slight to marginal risk tomorrow. And then as we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, rain or chances through Wednesday, cooler Thursday and Friday with some frost in the morning, and a warm up next week.
Jerry, thank you. Thanks for joining us at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.